Laura here. I just wanted to check in quickly and let you know that this week's episode of Moi TV features me having a chat with Andrew and Pete behind the scenes. So last week's episode, we saw the reveal of their brand new headshots. This time, we sit down and have a chat about the latest focus in their business and how they think that you can double your income. We also recap on previous headshot sessions that we've created together over the years, as well as looking at the graphical aesthetic that they were looking for in this recent headshot session. Let's go back to the studio.
Hey, and welcome back to Moi TV.
I am Andrew, and this is Pete.
And I'm behind the camera today.
Right, so way back in the day, we were very unfocused and we had 100 different business ideas every day. And we were constantly getting distracted, we weren't really going anywhere. And we had like a one-to-one service, doing websites and graphic design for people and marketing advice. And it was kind of tough. It was really tough. And so we had the idea to launch a membership, which is called Atomic, and it's for the small but mighty, so the solopreneur, but one that has a lot of potential and can really make a lot of money, but not necessarily having to have a big office and loads of team members and so forth.
So boys, this is I thought it was our 7th shoot, but actually it's our 8th shoot.
I remember the bonus shoot.
You remember the bonus shoot. I feel like we've had a big breakthrough today, Andrew, with you and posing. Want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, Pete is the big poser of the two of us. And I think Pete actually enjoys it, which is weird. I find it awful, but I think we've cracked the Andrew arm hold.
Yeah, the Andrew arm hold, that's
walk back and forwards constantly. And that kind of makes sense, because I do not sit still generally, do I?
You never sit still.
Yeah.
Well, this session's been different because we've shot on the green screen, which we have done before, but previously we've always known what the green screen was going to be.
Yes.
Where this session has been more, I don't know if, like a dynamic headshot. I don't know if that's the right phrase.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a really good phrase for what we're doing. So if you're not familiar with the graphic results, if we've got some, I'll put them on now as we're talking, but it's combining a very well cut out version of yourself, isn't it? And putting you onto different things. So because you two have your website and your graphic design roots, I think that's why you like this trend so much.
Yeah.
You've taken inspirational from lots of different cool places. Run us through where you got your inspiration from.
We've had inspiration from TV shows, from Time magazine. We want to have like the cutout, but with like a cool background. So, or even dual tone. If we make ourselves completely pink or purple or red or anything like that. So
that's almost your signature by this point, I think, isn't it?
So this photo shoot is never going to be used by itself. It's always going to be like 100% edited and put on different backgrounds and in situation. So it's going to be really versatile.
I think we've kind of DIY'd that up till this point. And we're probably sick of looking at those same photos that we've cut out of ourselves from us on stage.
Yeah.
So it's going to be nice having ones that have been made for this purpose.
Yeah, with that in mind. So I think another thing to make a note of is how little we're at preparation now. So I like to be known as the photographer who does lots of intense prep. What did we do this time to prep, guys?
I mean, I don't think we did really anything. There were a few messages. I feel like I like this. I don't think Pete literally did nothing.
I literally didn't even know where we were going to shoot. I didn't know what we were going to do, what style, what lighting.
That was my job last weekend, to like find some good lighting examples and send them through to you.
For a brief.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty, isn't it? If you work with the same people.
It's good because obviously now we can come in, we don't have to do as much prep time, you know exactly what we want, the results we want to get out of it without us even having to say, basically.
Yeah.
And we can just rock up and we're instantly comfortable and we know how each other works and it's just a lot more fun.
As comfortable as we can be.
Having your picture taken.
Someone like
Well, you're going to have to retouch Pete's shiner, for one. And then we're kind of excited to get the finished retouches back and then start playing with the background. start seeing where they can fit on our site.
Put them on some sexy gradients.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Even like across social media, like our YouTube header, I know that's got the old photo on.
You have a thing right now about doubling your business.
Yeah, so we are all about thinking big with your goals. And we wanted to kind of set all of our Atomic members a challenge to actually double their business. So this goes way back before we even announced this. We put a post in the Atomic group. It must have been maybe 9 months ago-ish now. And we said, guys, if you were to like really knuckle down, how quickly do you think you could actually double your business? And there was loads of different ranges. People were like, well, maybe in like 3 months, maybe in 10 months, maybe in 18 months. I'll never be able to double my business.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge we want to set. We kind of looked at all of those and we said, what is kind of the average here? Then let's do it a little bit above average. Let's say 6 months. Let's try to get everyone doubling their business in 6 months' time. And that coincided with the launch of the brand new Atomic 2019-2020 program, which we've done Ground Zero and Payday now. So we're about 3 months into that at the moment. And it's all about, because we've done it, and it's all about looking at, and we know when we were doing a lot of one-to-one work, our one-to-one clients were doing it. So we basically took what we've done in our business, but also what's worked when we've been working one-to-one with other businesses.
Right, okay.
And worked out what the steps were. And interestingly, the first few steps, so we've currently done Ground Zero and Payday on Atomic, hasn't necessarily been about doing more. Whenever we've had huge wins in our business, it's not because we've done lots of new stuff. It's when we've done less, when we've actually looked at what's really working, whether that's marketing that's working, whether that's sales that's working, or even if it's like business, your business model as a whole. We had tons and tons of different income streams this time last year. So about 6 months ago for us, we actually looked to see, right, what is actually working, what has potential, but what has the biggest potential here?
And I think that's the whole point, because everybody is so spread out, doing so many different things, and they might have like 7 different income streams, but actually only 1 or 2 of those are going to have a lot of potential going forward, and the other ones are just kind of holding you back, and they're just taking up time. So one of the ways we doubled our business was by actually getting rid of all these different income streams and focusing on the one that actually had the demand and actually had potential and scalability.
There's a whole school of thought out there, isn't there, about the value ladder and how you should be offering value at lots of different financial increments. How does that fit with what you're saying then about getting focused and working through this program?
So we don't necessarily 100% agree with that as a model. I think it can be very distracting if you try to have too many. Like, for example, one of the biggest like low income streams is writing a book. Everyone seems to want to write a book. And we've wrote 2 books, so we're like huge hypocrites here. But like, it's not gonna change your bank balance all that much. Having a book, having a low income, low level income stream.
And
there's only a very small percentage of books that actually do incredibly well and get picked up. And what a lot of people end up doing is spending months and months and months writing a book, taking time away from actually income generating activities. And then what happens when they launch it? Well, they haven't spent time building up an audience to reach out to. And they maybe make 100 sales of a £5 book, like £5 cut profit of that book might sell for £10. And you've made £500. And that's it, you've wasted 4 months. You split that into
the hours that it took to write it. Never mind trying promoting it. You
can make so much more money doing other stuff.
Like, another kind of big belief of ours is that one size doesn't fit all. So, and Atomic doesn't say do this. Atomic says work out what works for you and do more of that. So we're not saying having like cheaper offerings isn't right for everyone, but if that cheaper offering, like say like a book or like a really low price course, is taking your efforts away from doing the thing that's actually going to double your business and actually going to make you more money, then we don't think that's a good idea to be plowing your efforts into.
For example, if you were a public speaker, a professional speaker, and having a book meant you got more speaking gigs and you could prove that in the data, then obviously write the book?
Okay, so the first thing we did is get crystal clear on our figures. We worked out, I think for the first few years, we were maybe kind of bumbling along, and we were kind of, okay, if the bank balance was positive and there was a bit left over and we could pay ourselves a wage, happy days.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
/ please don't show me the account. I don't want to.
We got really clear on where all of our money was coming from, where all the money was going out, and then extrapolated that data over where it could be in 5 years' time. And that's the first thing we get you to do in Atomic is actually, right, let's just take a clear look at what our business looks like financially and what it could look like financially if we do certain things. Stop certain
So how do you do a 5-year extrapolation? Explain that for people who are watching this who are like me with creative minds and are freaked out by numbers.
So for example, what we did was we mapped out all of our different income streams and we extrapolated the data from past data to say, okay, well, we've made X amount last month and the month before and the following years. And if we extrapolate that out, then we use you can just do this on a spreadsheet, like a fancy spreadsheet formula.
Yeah.
And basically it'll go up in small increments and you just see how far that goes at the end of the year or at the end of 5 years. And if you do that with all your income streams, you'll realize there's like £100,000 difference between all of them. And it's crazy. You think, why am I spending any of my time now on something that's going to make me like 20 grand over 5 years? Whereas if I make this is going to make me a millionaire by the time I'm 30. Why should we continue splitting our time on things that aren't actually going to get us anywhere in the future? Yeah. Not only does raising your prices mean that you can make more money per sale, but it also means you can start to afford things like outsourcing, and that really helps to save time. And the more, let's say for example you've got 10 clients and you're working all hours of the week to get this work done for the 10 clients. If you were to charge twice as much, you would only have to work with half the amount of clients, which means you would have twice the amount of time back in your business. You would literally halve your working time, and you would have so much more time to sell those higher prices better, to build your content, build your sales processes. And that's incredibly important. I don't think people realize that price and the amount of time you have are directly correlated. So increase your prices, work less, and spend the time selling yourself better and creating better processes.
All right, top tip number 3 is to don't think that you have to go it alone. Even though a lot of us are in either small teams or even going as a solopreneur, there is no need for anyone to feel like they are in this business world by themselves. Go find yourself a community to be part of, or go get yourself a mentor, someone that's done it before you and can push you in the right direction. Because a lot of what we're talking about now is scary, and I know having each other helps a lot with that.
Oh, so much. In Atomic, especially, it's one of the... I've been in a few different online communities myself. It might have been photography specific or online entrepreneur specific or just local business. It's very different types. And I have to say the support in Atomic, like even if you just go in there and ask for a random thing, like, help, I can't film this video. What do I do? Like 3 people will be there within the hour to tell you what adapter you need to buy.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what you need. On the small level and the big level, like, oh my God, I need to raise my price. I've got this client that I've been working with for 3 years now, and I don't know how to send that email. What should I even say?
Yeah.
Like small things, big things, we need people around us. And whether that's Atomic or whether that's another community that you're part of, go find one.
And on that note, if you have a coach or a mentor or a community that never says no to you, fire them, get rid of it.
Yes.
That's really good advice,
You need people to tell you no. Like our most recent mentor, in every single meeting he says, guys, what are you doing that for? Like, stop doing that.
But he does it in a way that makes us realise that we were idiots.
Yeah, in a nice way. In a nice way.
I think
but if you don't have that, then you need someone else that's going to push you.
Yeah.
Definitely buy pizza.
There's the link to the Andrew and Pete YouTube channel, which is full of lots of advice. And what's next then? So what's the next best thing to do after that?
Well, check out our website, andrewandpete.com. That's got links to everything, including Atomic, if you want to check that out. Also, there's a link there to our event, which you get to come to for free if you are a member of Atomic, if you join Atomic.
Wow. How does that work? Hang on a minute. Explain that.
So we actually restructured Atomic. You know how we were talking about only doing one thing?
Yes.
And we felt like we loved doing Atomicon this year, but it was a distraction. It was a distraction. And we know that people that come to an event but don't do anything else are not going to get the results that we want them to get.
Sure.
We know that the people that go to events and have that accountability all year round are the ones that do better, the ones that actually get the results. And so it didn't feel right to be selling them separately. So now we sell the one product. It's Atomic. It includes access to the online training, the membership. It includes access to the community and a ticket to Atomicon 2020 next year, which has some awesome speakers. Drew Davis is coming, Mari Smith's coming, Andy Crestadina, Brian Fanzo, loads and loads. We've got 25 speakers and we're announcing more.
And it's like, you would never get this kind of this conference, this caliber of speakers like in the UK. It's insane.
So that's gonna change the feel of the event. Like you know, I do a lot of different events around the world. It's part of my income stream. It's one of my income streams. So I know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about people who just go to events all the time and don't seem to do any work. There's a lot of them. Yep. But then similarly, the vibe at an event is usually dictated by the brand of an event, and the idea that you get when you go to these is that somebody wants you to then join their membership. I think what you're saying here is the mood of Atomicon is going to be very different. There's not this big call to action, so now buy our book, or now go to the back of the room and pay for a membership. There's going to be lots of in-jokes and stuff, right?
Like the goal at the moment for Atomicon next year is it to just be like a big party for all of our members that have built up these relationships online and are coming together in Newcastle, and they all know each other already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get goosebumps. I can't wait.
It's gonna be amazing.
And there's still tickets left?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We've got the biggest venue in Newcastle, so there are still tickets left.
It's gonna be epic.
And we'll put a link to those tickets in the show notes.
Thanks so much for watching, guys, and thanks, Laura, for those epic photos.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Don't forget, if you want to learn some more free tips and advice from Andrew and Pete, you should definitely go ahead and subscribe to their channel. I'm going to put a link up here as well as down there in the show notes. Go and take a look. I promise you, you won't regret it. Now, before you go anywhere, don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.